we have the amazing, beautiful poet, Tiara.
Hey.
We are so excited to have you. You are amazing. You are
Thank
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So our producers asked you one word that inspires you, and you chose
My word was courage. My word was courage.
courage.
Definitely courage.
So let's talk about courage and what courage means to you.
Wow. So I'll give you a little backstory. I have been attending Chicagoland and surrounding areas open mics probably for about 15 years.
15
and
years.
I have
Ooh.
only been performing for 2 years. The reason for that, I would say, would be the word courage.
The word it alone itself, courage. And if it took your daughter, believe it or not, sometimes I have this thing where I say, God, I always say God is the reason. And it's the reason I say that because God may have, which I truly believe what you're saying, that used your daughter
Oh, yeah.
to put this in mommy as that push.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't see it that way, but reality, everything was the way they should be.
Yeah.
And that courage is your daughter. And your courage right here, sitting right here on our show right now. So that's amazing. I love to hear that. I
Thank
love
you
to
so
hear
much.
that. So the name Tiara, which I love that, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's talk about where the name come from and the meaning behind your name.
So absolutely, my name, what my daddy gave me. I am born Tiara, like crown. But
It's not like a stage name. It's actually your name.
Well, I'm gonna get to that part too. So the original spelling is Tiara for crown, or they would say tiara or tiara.
Okay.
However, when I first started with my mentor, he was like, "Well, you got to come up with a poetry name," and I'm like, I don't have nothing. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna choose? And then I'm sitting up here going back and forth, and then my husband and I were sitting on a couch, and I was like, I want to keep my name. Let's put a spin on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about Tiara? And he was like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, okay.
It
So
is.
when my husband say something nice, he not just fluffing. He'll, he gonna give you the real. And I was like, wait, I wanted to be surrounded around light, like what I bring into rooms when I step in there. So I'm like, T''Aura.
Bingo.
AURA. So that's what I came up.
So you want to talk about any times in your life where you felt fearless? Since that's the episode.
Fearless? Probably these last
2 years. Let's talk about it.
Probably these last 2 years. I have literally been saying to myself daily, how we have this notion of, oh my God, something's bad gonna happen, something bad is gonna happen, or been saying to myself daily, how we have this notion of, oh my God, something's bad gonna happen, something bad is gonna happen, or we always think, what's the worst that can happen? And I want to switch that narrative. So I've just been saying, what's the best that can happen?
What's the best that
Like,
can happen?
show me how good it can get. I'm literally like sitting in it. But the most time I've been fearless, I'd have to say, stepping into rooms where you've seen people really work at this craft. Take it seriously.
Yes.
This is their livelihood. And then here I come, a newbie. Although I've been sitting in these rooms for so long, it's from a different view, a completely different perspective. So I'd say being fearless was starting my first open mic when I was so scared to speak for so long.
Yeah.
My dad started me off real young in church. He was a pastor. And I would always have to sing before he came up to preach or give announcements and things like that. But we're missing so much of that these days.
So much.
Forcing kids to publicly speak because it does teach them and give them a lot of confidence. But I had that notion, and I was just so scared for so many years to be able to speak. So I'd say this entire 2 years.
So how do you prepare yourself for an actual performance?
I overly prepare.
Overly prepared.
I hear that Virgos tend to be perfectionists. Not sure.
Are you a Virgo? I know
Like-
quite a few, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You want to, in my opinion, you always want to be over prepared than under. At least you know you have this, just in case. This, back up this, back up that. You want that. So that's a beautiful thing. Instead of, oh my God, I forgot this, I didn't do this, oh my God. You don't want to have that extra panic.
Yes.
So that's toodles to you on that. Absolutely.
So I'm not the most organized, but I am a perfectionist when I see something and it's, you know, my view, and only I can see what I'm seeing in my mind about how I would like it to be now. So yeah.
So let's talk about you know, being a poet. Like, how do you use your talent right now within the 2 years to, whether it's encourage, whether it's motivate, what kind of messages do you put out there?
Well, I thrive in a space of transparency. That is really where I got my start. A lot of my first poems and things that I write now are things that I battle with. My first poem, it probably took me maybe 6 months to write because it was so emotional and it really dug into the parts that we tend to keep in the shadows. We wouldn't want to shed light on.
Right.
All those ugly parts. Things that you have dealt with, whether that's grief, death, promiscuity in young age, rape, molestation. But all of those things that kept me from speaking and silent for so many years, that is where my message lies. Because the more that I step into spaces and I speak and just give my unapologetic, authentic self, one or two people at the end of the night or when I'm done are like, man, that message really touched me. I needed that. Or you don't know how much I needed that. Or someone will be in tears and I'm like, okay, guys.
You think you may have had any challenges, especially, you know, obviously you had this talent forever, obviously, right? But the last 2 years, obviously your daughter has been that, you know, push, which I say still, God was that person to say, hey, you know, have you had any challenges, you know, doing especially poetry? You standing in front of a lot of people. Obviously, being in front of a crowd is intense. That's for the people who don't know, especially when you're talking hundreds and thousands of people. What is your experience like? What are challenges?
I'd say my challenges don't necessarily start when I get on stage. Maybe the preparation before, like, you know, God, let my messages be received in the light that they were written.
Right.
And also, a challenge would be not necessarily being on stage or in the space of writing. It could be the people who were always attached to you before this, and now you're just this. Who are you? What did you do with the little TT that I've always known?
Right.
That I've always loved, and the one who went out and kicked it with me and drank with me, and now you so wrapped up in God and inspiration, and what happened?
You know what that means, right? You know what that means.
That
we are, I think in life, we all are going to progress in a certain level of our lives. And some people, I always say, are not meant to go where you're going. They're not. So if you have people in your corner or were in your corner that had that type of mentality, get out my way, because I'm going further. That's how I look at it. And that's how you have to be as you are going further. So there's quite a few things you do. Let's talk about bakery. What? We got a cook. We got a bakery here. Let's talk about that.
So that's a funny story. My whole family has always baked, whether it be my side or my husband's side. My mom always did the traditional 7-Up pound cakes, cupcakes, and regular amazing chocolate chip cookies that she'll whip up in like 10-15 minutes. And I'm just like, girl, mine does not come out like that. My daughter has it as well. But specifically, when I really got serious about it, it was my father-in-law. He got this recipe from his mother, and it's been passed down for generations. And I guess he's had to say, you needed to be in the family long enough to get it.
Oh, Lord.
To get it. But my husband and I have been married for 16 years and together since 2005. 2005.
That is
20
a long
years.
time.
That's a long time. And that's how he got me. Take me around his family with all that good food. And I was like, I am never
And
leaving.
literally, I love it. Is it any of your favorites that you make?
A regular old school pound cake.
Pound cake. You know you're gonna have to give us a sample, right?
I got you.
Because we are going to be prepared to have some.
I definitely got you.
So, do you have any mentors, or do you like currently like teach any?
So I got all of the above. So currently, I have a mentor who has been instrumental. Actually, March will be 1 year that we've been together.
1 year.
1 year that we've been in this mentorship together. And Geronimo.
Speed. We had him earlier. Amazing.
Yep.
So many people he mentors. He's doing big things. Big shout out to him. Obviously, like he's obviously on the right road to be, mentoring the right people. Because obviously, everyone that he has brought us has been just as amazing as him. Obviously,
beautiful spirit, great family man. I really thank God for the connection.
So, has it ever been a time that you felt like you wanted to give up?
Absolutely. In 2010, and forgive me if I start crying because I still get choked up.
Wow, it's got to be deep, huh?
In 2010, December 2010, I attempted suicide.
Oh,
yes, and it was one of the most darkest times in my life. I had a daughter, my husband. At that time, she was our only child together. And I was just unimaginably depressed. It was so heavy, and I couldn't even put into words like what it was that I was feeling. It's just like, God, just make this stop, and that was the only way. And I remember taking pills and just downing them and going to go lay down. And then my husband came in like, what's going on? And we ended up at the hospital at Ingalls.
Sheesh, wow. It's okay.
Yeah, and I was, they held me for 72 hours. And within that 72 hours, I had some amazing individuals come speak to me, and other people who were in there for different things, whether it be drugs or, alcoholism, schizophrenic, things that people were really dealing with. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to help. People who fall into this space and don't know what to do is being engulfed with all of those big feelings and not knowing where to compartmentalize them.
A lot of people are afraid to talk about like your experience. Some people are afraid to talk about it. When I say don't be afraid, because my thing is be you, because you never know somebody who's had the same story or is going through what you've been through. So you can obviously share your story and how you accomplished being out of that to help someone else. So never be afraid to just let it out. I've been through this. This was at a point in my life, but you know what? Look where you are now.
Yeah. So I speak about it often, whether it's with poetry or young girls that I mentor.
See?
And I went and got a tattoo in Mexico when me and my husband were out there, and he was like, why are you trying to go get adamant about going to go get this tattoo? I'm like, I gotta get it. Like, it's just been placed on my heart, so I'm gonna go get it. But it was a semicolon, and what it meant to me was where I saw an end, God just said pause. So, yeah.
I always say God is the reason. It's not your timing. Baby, let me tell you. You're here, and your timing, your calling is still going. Your story is being heard. Even right now, as the listeners, they're listening.
Absolutely.
And this is not the end. This is just another chapter in the book that keeps going and going. So is there anything coming up, any events that you want to talk about?
Yes. So each year I do one big event, and it scares me every single time.
Oh, Lord.
To step out on faith and continue to do this my cousin passed away in 2015, and she used to host an event called Love Fest, and it was usually a fundraiser for a school that she wanted to start.
Okay.
But I turned it, and I do it in honor of her. So women who serve like her, who want to see others win and don't always have to be in the spotlight. So I select 2 to 3 women each year and give them their flowers and say thank you for being who you are without all the lights.
I love that.
And glamour.
Give women their flowers, because a lot of people wait till you're dead and gone. It's too late. If you can see the progress in many people, your peers, people that you know that's been doing especially positive things, give them their flowars. So obviously you're keeping this trend going, and we definitely have to support. We have to be there.
February 22nd at the Willis Tower. Well, we still call it the Sears Tower. But the Willis Tower on the 67th floor from 5 to 9 p.m. I cannot wait.
So you want to talk about what motivates you right now?
What motivates me right now is being aligned with who God says I am. That is the biggest motivation. Walking into spaces knowing that I bring value, like I add value to anywhere that I go. And knowing that, because so many people don't know that. So that is my biggest motivation right now.
Well, obviously, when you stood in this room, you obviously lit up. Obviously, so when you walk in the room, you're letting it be known, hey, this is me. Even though you're not trying, it's just a natural ability. So you got to keep that energy wherever you go. I always tell people to be you. I don't care what it is. Always be you, because people are going to remember that. You've already set a trend just being you, obviously. So obviously you do poetry. Let's talk about any awards or any winnings.
Look,
or
I keep forgetting. I'm like, I am an award.
Hello. You can't forget to mention, all the amazing things that you have done throughout this process. So let's talk about it.
Last year I was nominated for the National Spoken Word Poetry.
Amazing.
That the legendary Black Ice hosts each and every year, where he gives poets their flowers, whether you're new and upcoming. And it's a time to pause. I don't think too many people, like outside the poetry world, are aware of how much poetry has impacted just literature, and the arts and hip hop and R&B. Everything begins with poetry. So it's beautiful to sit back and be in spaces and someone calls your name up to say the work that you've created, that you put out into this world, that you had enough courage, is award worthy.
That is major.
So I won national best spiritual poet, and then I was nominated for Rising Star.
Rising Star. What year was that?
This was last year.
Oh my goodness, last year. So you are on the road. You see, this is amazing. You better be thanking your daughter. I'm telling you. Because God does things for a reason. This is amazing. I love your progress. I love your story. Obviously you are an inspiration to be even nominated. Black Ice, come on. That's amazing. That is amazing. So we're talking about all these good traits. Let the viewers hear a little something that you have.
Like a piece?
Yes.
Let me see.
It could be anything.
Anything? Let me see.
Big.
I like which way we're going.
Anything. Or if you could freestyle, that'd be good too.
Now, I don't know how to freestyle. I always write. But, what piece do I want to leave with the people?
She's going to give you her amazing, so you can understand why she's nominated, why she's on those lists. Absolutely.
So I wrote a piece. It was definitely a transparency piece about all those ugly, cringy feelings that we get when we step into spaces and get that imposter syndrome. So I sat down like, the insecurities. I woke up wanting to feel like the best version of me. When it took one look in the mirror and saw that you were there. And some days you just appear. And I could catch a glimpse of you looking back at me like, who she thinks she is? Let me see how fast I can snatch that grin. Let me see how uncomfortable I can make her in her own skin. Find out what her happiness is and throw it into an abyss. Make her feel like she'll never, ever get a chance to win. Keep her wondering, is she really who she says she is? Gift wrap her presence with the worst case of imposter syndrome. I have her doing the job and still second guessing her position. Show her every crack of imperfection because I love shattering her confidence each time she's rebuilding. I even like to see her stutter, fishing for words, and never quite reel them in. Make her feel like she's glitching or in competition even when there's no competing. It's my job to keep her depleted. Thank you.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What? You know what?
Mm-hmm.
What was the inspiration behind that?
Insecurities.
Okay, because you know what? I'm a poet too, so I have a thing where even when I do writing, some of the writings is from within, and I have this thing of sometimes writers, especially poets or any writers, a lot of times we write things that we go through and it comes out. And I didn't want to assume obviously about you, but I can relate.
Yes.
And I think you're going on the right path because obviously you talk about things that most people don't talk about. Insecurities, suicide. Even I have been through it. Even I have fought those challenges.
Yeah.
Even I. So I love that. That's deep. I love that. Absolutely love. Tell the viewers how they can follow you.
All right, so via Facebook, it is my traditional spelling of my name, Tiara, Tiara, Harris Granger. And on all other social media platforms, you can find me at Taura, Taura, the poet. Definitely follow me.
One more thing. So what advice can you give for any upcoming artists, poets, or anyone who's trying to get in a position like you, who's out there doing their thing? What kind of advice can you give them?
One, pray and pray some more. You have to have the mental fortitude to be able to step into these spaces. Chicago poetry scene, it's filled with heavy hitters.
Yes, it is, and you're a part of that.
Oh, there you go. And it is important to just do it.
Just
do it afraid, do it scared, do it with all your insecurities. Begin.
What words or motto do you live by?
And
continue to live by going forward?
I have been saying this for a few years now. It's actually two. Blessed Beyond Measure, which is my organization that I started in 2018 that uplifts and inspires young girls and women.
Nice.
That is the organization that throws Love Fest each year. And the second one is in spaces big and small. You matter and your voice matters.
You matter and your voice matters. I love that because not only are you living it, but you're telling others to live it. That is amazing. Tell the viewers one more time how they can book you, reach out to you, follow you, or even be a part of your organization or any events that you may have going on.
Absolutely. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Taura, Taura, the poet.
Thank you for being here. You are amazing, beautiful. Keep pushing and keep going.
Thank
we love you
so much for having me. I love you all too.
welcome.
Thank you.